Hello, my name is Micaiah Stevens. Welcome to Hamlet Development Log number 24. Let's check our levels. Okay, good. Sorry. It's been a little while. We talked to this Development Log 24. So it's kind of some of the, I don't know, I always like to sort of preface what I say. So anyways, it's kind of a lot of information we talked about before. Just kind of, it's in development, so it's basically the, which is odd because it's development log. I think we're kind of past sort of the, um, for the most people to look at development from the inside and realize that a lot of the stuff they see may or may not come out, especially when you're looking at alpha content, is where we're at. So anyways, we have a game demo, so let's get to that first. We pretty much had a lot of this game demo first. It still feels a little disconcerting. Anyway, so we're talking about the UI. Mainly, we have this weight system that we are working on last time. When we pick up objects, we found the axe, I believe it was. Yeah, and then or the pickaxe, and now we have the axe. Yeah, so the pickaxe is kind of strange. It's actually sitting right here. I'm not sure why. And then you can see right there, it's on the correct character, but seems to be in the local space instead of the character. I still haven't figured that out. But anyway, so we got a lot of that. So where we're at, we actually can go mine rocks, and they actually upgrade particles, or it's a leaf particle, and then we have the leaf particles. You can actually you can actually interact with the house. I think it's just one single object. There's a lot of clipping issues. Anyway, so we have the weight of the objects, and then we can put logs and rocks in here, and we can also pick up this. It's been a little while, so it's always nice to kind of showcase some of what the game does. And you can pick up the cart. One of the things we've been talking about is the idea that the character, when they spawn into the world, what do they actually own? And that's actually part of the character creation. Is like, what do you get? Do you want a building? Do you want gold? Do you want resources? Sort of how do you want to start your character? Anyway, so the other major feature we'd like to talk about, this is the sign. You can barely read it, I can barely read it. Red on brown is probably not the best color, but it says, by order of the king, no one may enter the cave. You actually go up, and now you actually get the this new, I call it new, but it's the old UI we developed. I don't remember what game I saw that was like, that's really cool. Anyways, the idea is that TGF, or TGH, I mean, is the on the QWERTY keyboard that, QWERT, and then under the T is the G, and under the G is the H. So anyways, G just closes the menu. You hit T. Should continue. Did actually, here, is that a bug? If I hit there and I hit G, so apparently close is actually progressing the story, which is not what we want to do. Anyway, it's a slight bug. So we brought this menu back. It's a little bit better. I think there's a, there was a old menu that was, well, it didn't look good. What happened? Oh, weird. Seems like I was stuck in some loop. So that's kind of one of the topics we did. I think it's the old one was just like you would it would just say there would be a button, and I think you can actually click on the buttons. Yeah, so I was going to be playing with this roguelike for a long time. This feeling of the movement, and you can't click on the buttons. Okay. Anyway, so I'll have to fix that. They're just sort of prefab. So, and then the other thing we're talking about, this second subject, we have this castle. It was built. It was kind of a long time ago. We have a new version of the castle ready to go, but it sort of feels like it lines up. If you look right here, we're at kind of lined up on the line of the character right here, and if you walk down to a certain point, you can see we're still lined up, so we can actually line up. So, and this is one, 2, 3, and then 4. You'd be on the other side of the wall, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd be on that side. So it's pretty standard. But it's kind of talking about buildings. It's kind of a placeholder. Then we have this other building, which I believe is there's actually, well, on the front, And then we have buildings, and then we have interactables on the ground, which are kind of, the lamp post, various things like that. But then this door opens up, and then it has this. The texture is pretty bad. This is a different third house design. And then, anyways, you can go inside, and then you can inside the house. You can see. I don't think you can interact with the key, but I thought that would be fun as well. And then maybe, I'm not sure. And yeah, there's no clipping. Yeah, there's actually an interesting thing where it's like it only checks the front, so you can actually walk through back. So, anyways, that's the second house design. This is kind of the original house design. You can't. You used to be able to go into the house, and this still probably is all the code is there. But then this is our new. This is the Jamin's houses. The door actually opens up correctly, and the roof actually tears away. The windows are actually not. Correct. Oh, and there's a little bit of. I think I need to scale it just a little bit more so it lines up. That's kind of the major problem with this roguelike, and the. I think the front's pretty good. I guess you could just move it forward by half an inch or so, and the sides are okay. But it's part of the problem with this roguelike tile movement. I think it's sort of just the original roguelikes do that. They have tile movements, and that's kind of what I'm trying to retain here. We can still go into third-person view right here. I'd like to actually have. It's kind of a pretty. I'm not sure why it feels pretty laggy, but once it sort of settles down, this is sort of how the cameras respond. Once it settles down, it actually becomes pretty quick, and then it's still responding to the character as well. So. But I'd like it to actually be more focused on the character, and I would actually like to have more RTS elements at this point where you can click on characters and do things. I'm not sure exactly how to get that into the place, but yeah, and you can still see I forgot to remove those. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much, and then here's the original land we still need to develop. Yeah, so anyways, that's pretty much the demo. Let's run through the quick, just a recap here. The fact that the signs are now different, and then you can sort of. I like the fact that you can go close the sign, but I also want to add in back-end keyboard support, so that's kind of important to me as well. And so it just kind of gives us a lot of options. It seems like sometimes you go through that and it's a single hit, and other times it's a double hit. Like that's a double hit right there. So we need to. The other thing too is we also need to add in the interacting with the cart, and when you interact with it, it will open up the inventory. And these are still pretty cool. I think they can't. Well, they can't go off the. Well, I guess in certain things they can't go off the screen. You can actually click on and then we have the X button. So it's pretty cool. The gold. This is actually gold right here, and the weight is sort of and then these are kind of. Pretty standard UI elements that we can actually implement. We have a lot of cases like that, but anyways, I'm rambling now, so that's pretty much the game demo. Let's get back into the rest of the presentation here. So a lot of this is kind of, we're still talking. I think I'll pretty much remove a lot of this. I guess we'll talk. I guess we'll talk about that for reasons in a bit. But anyway, so we're still kind of on that 18.10 on the beta branch. We haven't really done it a lot. This is only about a couple hours worth of work here. And about 15 minutes cleaning up the PowerPoint here. But yeah, so we're still kind of debating about Steam. If nothing else, it's kind of like we're talking with a couple friends online, and part of we realize that we are kind of making a. It's like we are, our whole life has changed, and I want to focus on something, more spiritual side of things. But I also realize that we have to work and we have to do things and earn money and so it's like, and it's something I love doing, even like for entertainment and sort of for myself. It's I do this for fun, for free. So it's definitely something I want to continue. So I think I probably will. Maybe more part-time, I guess, is sort of the status. But anyway, so I've cleaned this up a little bit. August 5th, we're sort of back. August 12th, which is a week. The Mondays have been our Hamlet updates. I'm not sure, and we kind of started this on August 12th, and we are a little bit late. I think it's almost 1:30 right now. We did some dishes and ran an errand, and we're trying to think about this. And anyway, so here we are. So we talked about the the Steam. Steam's, we need to get an update out there pretty soon. It's been a couple months. I'd like to actually fix quite a few bugs, maybe, or I don't know. I need to kind of fix some bugs and add some content and sort of get a good update to 18.3, basically. We're back to the good UI. When the old, it would be the Hamlet Engine 2. It had a lot of the UI and elements, and that's all into the code now. And so we just brought that over from the old UI, and we had this new UI. Anyways, we talked about buildings a little bit. Buildings are kind of like part of the macro environment. I guess we'll talk about here pretty quickly, but that's kind of why we're focusing on buildings and sort of the three designs we have. We like the jam in buildings, but they're kind of a unique style, but they do have. But anyway, so micro, we haven't really done a lot with this. We talked about the inventories. We definitely need to add in inventories for the. Well, actually, for all these, we talked about the crate, the barrel, the wood pile. Right now, they're just sort of static interactions, like you interact with the wood pile. If you have a log, it checks the inventory, pulls the log out, and puts it on the wood pile. And then it doesn't even, we eventually want to add it to a family, I think is what we're going to go for, is sort of a family, like a sort of a family, or, a kingdom, or a, sort of a RTS, I don't know what you call them, players. It's not the players, but it's sort of like their global inventory. But then it's like also we want to kind of make it limited that the wood pile can only service buildings within 10 tiles of it or something like that. Anyway, so then we also have the house and bed. It's pretty cool. And this characters are kind of this. I think the next thing we talked about, all this is based on the character. After we pick up the macro and buildings environments, we have a character pack. The same one these 3 free characters from Honetza, I think. They have a $100 pack. We're trying to. I think that's the biggest decision we're trying to make. Do we pick up the $100 pack, or do we pick up the $50 pack and then pick up a couple more packs? Eventually, I think we'll spend more than $100 if we spend less, but we'll have to decide. That won't happen until October, November, December. So we're kind of, or November, December, January. So it's actually pretty far out. And the reason for that is we're really serious. I guess that's kind of our hold up right now, is that we're waiting on the $30 for this Honetza Village pack. We like this pack because we think it will help us. We're gonna kind of go back to something we thought about a long time ago. Unity works best if you use a scene instead of a prefab, sort of a procedural generation. We think procedural generation will work, especially when you get to ECS and lots of really cool new tech. But for right now, and the sort of the speed of development and what we want to accomplish, I think, i.e., we want to come out in 2020, not 2022, that we're going to push out this sort of scene. That's going to be like, I think we're going to partly use this. We might be able to build a procedural town. We'll have to see how it goes. But we want to kind of build this. But I wouldn't put it past myself to just use this basic scene right now, and then sort of like rebuild the world, or build up the world around you while some of the world story is happening, is kind of the idea. So and then as this sort of and that sort of fits the rogue element too, that we have this town that's sort of the static town up top. It's gonna be a dynamic town, I think, is the major difference. And you can go up to the town, you can farm, you can interact with buildings, we can help people. We can expand and build the blacksmith, build various things to help you build the town up, which is the kind of one aspect of the game, or go into the dungeon, which is the second aspect of the game. And then we also have a couple of really interesting storylines on the town level, and then on the dungeon level. So hopefully we're going to get that into the game, and that will be really fun. I think that's sort of for me, it's like I can see these really cool things, and there'll be 5 minutes of gameplay. It's like, well, it took me quite a few months to build that 5 minutes of gameplay, but hopefully it'll be fun and sure to showcase some really cool things. We definitely have some interesting ideas and some plans. This will be very different. We still think the fog in the background, it does have to limit our what we can show. We have I think it's about 15 or 30 tiles that we can show from the character, which will give you a good overview of what's around you without because you do have to have some limits in game development somewhere. So anyway, so that's I guess we're kind of waiting for this. We kind of have the money right now, but we don't want to run out of money before the end of the month. So we're kind of waiting till the end of the month, and we also could start implementing. The problem with this pack, I think, is if we pick up the pack, it's going to be kind of like our old houses where we can teleport people into the houses or interact. We think it's partly going to be an interacting on the outside of the house. Like the blacksmith is going to have his house where he can go into, or you can go into if you want to be the blacksmith, but then you can interact with the blacksmith as his forge. Kind of like a graveyard keeper. The blacksmith is out working on his forge 9 to 5, and then if you come at night, he's inside his house or whatever. And then that's kind of the first step. We talked about this. I don't know if we have any of that. Yeah, sort of this first step, because we haven't really. It's kind of the Hamlet game, and it's kind of why we thought about these two. The macro environment is just this major, this is kind of the macro environment for the town. We also have the macro environment for the dungeon, which is going to be the second half of the game. Kind of that's where it fits in the roguelike, is where you can go into the dungeon, and you can fight, slimes and bats and ghosts and sort of collect resources, try to figure out what their story is, which we have another story for them as well. We actually have 2 different stories, so we're not sure which one we're going to go with. But then as we continue on in Hamlet 2.0, as we're calling it, we'll start adding in, procedural generation of the world, military royalty, and then we even talked about Hamlet 3.0 with the kingdoms and stuff. So we got a lot of things to do. I'm not sure how much I can accomplish part-time, but yeah, so. And then 2, we'd like to get back to this scene as well. The major difference of this scene right now I can think of is we don't have the interactive of the RTS elements, which is, I think it was really difficult in the first iteration of the game, where people were unsure why you were sort of controlling one character through an RTS element, and we didn't have a lot of the. We do have those now, but then we sort of went. Let's Hamlet, the game engine 2.0, which is or version 2, which is 6 months ago. To version 3 doesn't have that, but we'd like to get that back. And then the Zug art pack here. The problem with this art pack is we're pretty sure if we buy this art pack, the doors won't open, the buildings won't be very clean, but they might actually be, but it's hard to tell. And we've sent them an email, and it's been three months since they haven't got back to us. So, but the other pack does have the $15 pack, but the $15 pack doesn't include this scene, so which you could rebuild, and it also doesn't include a lot of the watchtowers, the fencing, a lot of the talent elements that we think will make this scene. And we might rearrange the scene a little bit. We might start with a different terrain. We like this idea of the terrain because it's the Baleen Keeps we've been talking a lot, and then how we can fit the dungeons, and we may have to sacrifice and put a graveyard here, and then that's where you go into the dungeons or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But yeah, so that's pretty much the Hamlet update 24. We may, so next week we'll probably think about it. That's the 19th, I think, of August. I'm debating about going to per month updates, because especially if we're not getting a lot done. Oh, that's my alarm. So, anyway, so I'm doing laundry. So yeah. So hopefully we'll think about it for this month, and then we'll probably put out if you're sort of interested in this channel, there's a discussion page, and we're posting sort of internal updates, sort of like a mini Twitter account, which we don't use Twitter, but they'll post in discussions each week, or or when our computer went down. So if you're interested in the channel, the 5 of you that are watching these videos, cool. That's also a secondary thing to look at and see what's happening, or if you're wondering where the video is, or what's happening for the week. I guess I see 2 possibilities right now. Either on August 19th, we will put out an update, or on September, what's the first week in September? I guess it would be September 2nd. So either September 2nd or I think the second might be 2nd or 9th. One of those 2 weeks we'll put out an update. So either we'll have an update on the 19th, or we're coming out on the 2nd or the 9th. So anyways, hopefully, and then I'm hoping to get out of this funk and really get into some working, and and once that gets start happening again. And I think too, it's like once I finish Hamlet 1.0, get the town working, get the dungeon working, get a really good couple good gameplay loops in there, we'll really start thinking about where we want to take this to the next level, and start including media, email media contacts. It's going to take months and months to get traction, but I think once, and then we'll send out a few emails to some, send out some Steam keys to people, and we'll try to get some YouTubers blitz. I don't think I can get blitz, or but Blitzkriegers. I haven't seen those videos in such a long time. They've kind of gotten to more popular, I guess. It's kind of a very strange term. Like, I don't want this game to be popular as well. It's like, cause it's like I want it to be niche and fun and cool and edgy. Anyway, so that's kind of the plan. So we'll see you either next week or in a month, and it'll only be a couple 3 weeks from now, but our month. Anyway, so thanks very much for everybody still kind of watching these, and sort of it's really fun. And also too, I'm not sure about I talked about some other channel things I might work on as well. I don't want to distract from this project, but that's the other thing too. I should say I haven't really been working on any game development projects. I haven't really touched the space project in such a long time. I have I worked on an idle game, just because I thought it'd be fun, and I realized it was only going to be half a day's of work, and and really learn the project. I thought it was going to be a much more stringent project, but I did sort of take it pretty far. I just kind of what I think I would, if I had everything to do over again and had that choice between the RPG and sci-fi, I think I would have liked to have done maybe smaller games and put out 3 or 4 smaller games on itch, and then Unity's platforms, and one on Steam as well, and kind of make smaller, really focus games instead of like this real full. This feels like a full game to me, where it's like, especially all the elements to it and how big it's getting. Anyway, so thanks very much. I guess I will talk to everybody next time. We'll post this. I'm gonna go take care of my laundry, but so it should be about another half hour. So hopefully we're not too late. Anyway, thanks for all. Take care. What are we at? 30 minutes? Oh, 20 minutes. Perfect. Take care.